Welcome to Bridge Business, our first episode, man. Hey, man, we had to kick it off right. We had to kick it off with the hottest boxer in the game right now in the business, the one and only undisputed, the undefeated, the lightweight champion of the world, Teofimo Lopez, Brooklyn's finest. There he is. The champion's here, ladies and gentlemen. The champion.
Yes.
Yeah. Fimo, how you doing, man?
I feel great, man. I feel honored, man, to be on here, man, and to kick it with you guys and talk about boxing and talk about what's next for the future, man.
Absolutely, man. Now, Big Horse, hey, Fimo, me and Horse, this is my fight buddy, man. Every fight, we sit around the 90-inch screen and watch boxing, baby, and we talk
that's
like
beautiful.
Commentators. Horse, say what up to him, man.
Teofimo, man. I love your performance, champ. Love what you're doing, man.
Thank you, Big Horse, man. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I can't wait, man, for us to start this going, man. Talk about what's next and all the guys in the lightweight division, man. It's hot.
Ooh, bad man.
Let's talk about it, man. Now, I'm going to start it off, but I remember when we first met, you was on the undercard for Terrence Crawford, and my man Aoki from Aoki and Barack, I said, who is this kid over here that got all that energy? Because you were like the most sociable dude in the room. Like, you was shaking hands, you was talking to everyone. And that's when I first learned about you. He told me you had only been fighting for like a couple years at that point. And he also told me about your pops. He said his dad says he's going to be able to beat Loma. He wanted to fight Lomachenko, and he's going to beat him. He's going to knock him out, And I was like, how could he say that? How could he say that about this dude? And he's only been fighting a couple of years. And a couple of years later, here we are. Man, that's crazy, man. God is great, man. My first question is, how has life changed for you since you beat Loma?
I gotta say, man, it's a life changer, man. Just the fact that what was the biggest thing coming out of that win was the fact that not a lot of people noticed, man, but that was I broke the barrier for all the young ones out there, for that new generation, man. Me and Shakur, we text about this all the time. That we're the leaders of the pack, leading the way for the new generation, man. And obviously, I had my shot, I took it, and we did what we did, undisputed lightweight world champion, man. And Shakur Stevenson, man, he's next. December 12th, he's got his thing going on, man. I think overall, man, it's a blessing. And, man, I just give all thanks and glory to God first, man. Without him, man, I wouldn't be here. 23 years young. I'm honored, man, and that's all to him.
Teofimo Lopez. Horse, man, we were talking about who we thought was going to win. Talk to him, Horse.
Hey, I have a question for you. How was it training in Arkansas for the first time for that Lomachenko fight? How was that?
Actually, I'm honestly, right now I'm working on my house as we speak. I got a house built from scratch. I think that's the best thing about it. Throughout the whole camp, we were doing actually camp in New Jersey. Now I plan on doing camp here in Arkansas next time around for next year. I already got my 3-car garage. I'm converting it into a gym, something special for me, and just staying on task, man, staying focused, staying ready, because I know that there's a lot of big fights that could be made at 135 and 140. So, things like that, man. It was great, man. The atmosphere, just being in New Jersey too, man. I got ready for Richard Comey over there, so we decided to do that for Lomachenko, and obviously the outcome shows, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that Comey fight when you dropped him in that second round, man. I mean, when I was in the Barclay, that was a homecoming for you in Barclays Center in Brooklyn. You was going crazy. The energy was good in there, and I'm dead serious. Nobody thought that you was going to finish this dude in 2 rounds, for real. He's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Nah, thank you, man. Nah, of course, man. I had to put a statement, man. I had to put out there, we had Lomachenko ringside. He was tuning in, and I think that I just had to prove everybody and let everybody know that I'm here to stay, and obviously it shows we still here to stay.
Takeover, baby, the takeover. The takeover.
The takeover.
It's a takeover.
Yeah, the takeover. The takeover.
Hey, taking over.
When you talk about the leaders of like the now generation or the new school boxers, like what is it that y'all talk about that you think needs to be fixed about boxing? How can y'all change the way boxing is being ran right now?
Honestly, how we think about it now is, yeah, we understand it's the business aspect of it. We put our lives every time we're in the ring, and we know that, doing so, we want something in return, and obviously that's the money. However, in order to be great, in order to make it from superstar to mega superstar, you gotta fight guys that people think are gonna beat you, man. You gotta make big fights happen, and it's for the fans, man, because everybody's gonna tune in, and that's where you get the sold out arenas, and that's where you get more of your revenue at. We gotta start from the bottom to get to the top, and I think that's where we talk about making big fights happen for everyone. Obviously, we can't have all those fights happen all at once, but as long as we can make those fights happen little by little, I think that's what we talk about mainly. It's just put it on for this new generation. We're hungrier. We're ready. And it's not to dish or badmouth any of the young guys or the top guys right now that have been in the kingpin for a long time. Honestly, what we talk about is just, man, it's time to put on a new wave. We got to give them that new swag, that new feeling. Yeah, you know what I mean? That New York swag, whatever. But just let them know that we here to stay, and we ready to entertain everyone, man. If it got to be nice cars or whatever, man, I think that'd be nice.
All right, man, listen, man, I think I was one of the few people that I said on the Sway in the Morning show, Lopez is going to beat Lomachenko. Man, I had the whole audience got at me, bro. Everybody, nobody believed me. I was the only one. I was like the Lone Ranger. And when you pulled it off, man, I honestly, man, I didn't know what was going to happen, but when you pulled it off, I was proud of you. But I was worried in those latter rounds. Like, what was happening in those later rounds? What was he able to figure out where he was able to make more contact? And then what does his punches feel like? Can he hit hard?
No. For me, he doesn't hit hard. I'll say that. He doesn't hit hard. However, he does throw a lot of punches when need to. And I think that's what it affects a lot of fighters, man, that they can't take that amount of punishment throughout those rounds. However, that was something on my part. I think I ended up slowing down on those rounds because I knew that we were going to take it to the longer rounds. That was something that me and my father, who is my head coach, we started talking about. And I knew that he was trying to take me to deep waters. So I needed to, instead I started coasting. But I coasted a little too much to the point where he didn't do enough, but just enough to win those rounds, of course. And but that's why in the 12th round, man, I stuck to it. And I was like, forget it. I thought we were going into the 10th round. Little did I know we were already in the final round. I was like, oh shoot, all right, I'm about to let it all out. So that was really it, man. Just trying to stay composed throughout that whole time. But I still too much composed at that time. So but that's all of the experience that I needed to know, man, for the next fights that I have. And I think that's something that me and my coach, we're going to talk about from this point on and work on.
The next fight, we got the champ, Teofimo Lopez, is here, Brooklyn's finest horse. He's from Brooklyn, man. I'm wondering.
What's next? I want to ask a question. So, if you want to be the unified champion in that division right there, isn't Devin Haney the WBC? Is that what you want to be, to keep the legacy, to be one champion in that division where everybody they got to come see you now, but where everybody got to come see you, where you got that all the belts, where I'm not come get it, come get it.
No. Like if everyone if they do their research, they'll see that what everybody else sees that knows. I am the undisputed world champion. Little do everybody know. I don't know if they seen it, man. The person that I fought, Lomachenko, he beat Luke Campbell for the WBC vacant world championship, and he won. So he had all the belts. However, with this whole petition or everything that was going on, that wasn't nothing that I had to do with. I had nothing to do with that. I went to the IBF. I did everything I had to do. Fight Richard Coleman, get that belt, so that way we can make that fight happen between myself and Lomachenko. Whatever happened, but little do people understand is that the elevation of the franchise belt and everything like that, they only elevated Devin Haney, not to bash him or anything, but he didn't fight nobody for that belt, for the world championship belt. And once they decided to have him on the Zone show underneath, I think, KSI and Logan Paul, something like that. I don't know if he had fought in that undercard, but he fought a guy that was probably like in the rank 100s. You know what I mean? And I just don't look at it as the rightful world champion from the WBC side. The WBC champion was Lomachenko, and we got that job done. If you look at the picture that I'm holding all the belts, you see two green WBC belts. One is the franchise, one is the world championship one. You know, so I think it's just a lot of bullshit, though. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry for my language, but it's a lot of BS that this has to come about.
Shit.
It's a lot of BS, but you know,
hold up, man. Hold up, man. Hey, now, the takeover. You need to know I'm from Oakland, California, man. I can't just let you delegitimize Devin Haney's his belt, man. I know his whole family. I'm saying, y'all gotta fight. I think that's why y'all gotta fight.
I think honestly though, it's like, what does he bring to the table for me to even talk and discuss this? I mean, look, he did what he had to do against Gamboa. We know we talk about the WBC, but that's crumbs. That's crumbs for me. I'm be honest with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's crumbs for me. And the reason why I say that it's crumbs for me because that belt it's not valid. It ain't valid. It may be valid for everybody else out there. And I feel like those eventually me and Devin are gonna face it off, man. I guarantee y'all.
But you don't recognize this belt as being valid.
Nah, I don't.
So he's not a champion in your eyes.
Nah, he ain't.
Because he didn't fight for it. He didn't fight for it.
He ain't fight for it. You know what I mean? I think that's the way you become a world champion. You got to fight for it. Come on, Sway. I mean, that's how it's always been throughout the young times, but throughout back before my time, man. From the 70s, from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, you had to fight the guy to beat him, and you had to beat him to get that world championship. So, he didn't get that opportunity, man. They elevated him. He went from interim to world champion, whatever they did, and they moved from world champion to franchise for Lomachenko. I never petitioned for that belt. So those belts are up for grabs, man. You know what I mean? So I think of it. But one thing I can say, though, it is a lot of BS for Devin and for myself because of what's going on with Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president. However, man, I think that's the only thing that's keeping him relevant at that moment.
Wow, man.
But look. I'm not. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this though, Sway. I'll tell you this straight up though. He did what he had to do against Gamboa. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's a phenomenal athlete. He's tremendous. He's a tremendous fighter. Obviously, he knows how to hit and not get hit. You know, he shows that. He shows that caliber. You know. However, man, I just think that he needs to show a little bit more to Tank, to myself, to the other guys in this division, to prove another mark on there.
So do you feel the same way about Ryan Garcia?
Ryan Garcia, yes. Well, I feel like Devin got the upper hand on Ryan.
Okay.
I feel like Devin got the upper hand on Ryan as of right now. Until we see what Ryan does, whether it's against Luke Campbell, Jorge Linares, whoever those cats are, like that he's facing. I know it was Luke Campbell that you're talking about, but then his guy got tested positive for COVID. But I think that the guy that has the upper hand right now is Devin Haney on that end. You know what I mean? Nice. So if you want me to list that among the list, Teofimo, Tank, Ryan, well, no, Devin, then Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. You like that horse? What do you think?
Like yo, are you comfortable at 135? That's like you real comfortable in that weight class right there, 135?
I was for a good minute, man. Now it's come to a point now it's like we gotta move differently in that sense of I can make 135 probably for another 6 months and then we're gonna move up to 140. However, though, you got big guys right now, Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. They fighting to become undisputed world champion. If that fight happens earlier next year and we haven't fought yet, the winner out of that, I will wait a little bit longer just to make that fight happen and get back-to-back undisputed, 135, 140.
Wow,
like
I love it.
Takeover.
The takeover. Hey, man, we can't keep talking unless we mention Tank Davis, man. We got to really talk about that. I mean, that's the fight that I think a lot of folks would love to see, how that would match up, you against Gervonta Davis. Is that a possibility? And how do you look at him as a fighter? Do you think do you give him credit for the fighter he is?
I give credit to all of them, man. I give credit to Devin. I give credit to Tank. I give credit to anybody that steps in that ring on top of what they do when they're in that ring. You know what I mean? Everybody, we all are skillful fighters that grew up in the amateurs together. I grew up when Tank was in the amateurs, and I grew up with Devin and Ryan. You know what I mean? We all know each other. We all know one another from yay high. You know what I mean? Even when Tank Davis was with Headbangers back with DC, you know, that was the thing, Headbangers. And so I've known Tank since I was like 10 years old. Little did he know. Now we talk about this. Yeah, that's a potential fight. However, it's up to his promoter and it's up to his team. As of right now, of course, I would love to make these fights happen. Obviously, you guys know that I don't duck or dodge no fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely want to make those type of fights happen. You know, Tank fought at 130 for this fight. You know what I mean? And I think Floyd wants him to fight at 135 for his next fight, test him out, and then make this type of fight happen. But, you know, I'm not going to wait for no man. I want to see what he does. But if we can make that fight happen, hell yeah, absolutely. I think it's great for the fans, man. You got two powerful hitters, man. Anybody, one shot can end the night on both sides.
Woo, that's what we talking about. Floyd said for that fight to happen, Tank would have to be the A card, be the A side. Would you be willing to negotiate around that just to make the fight happen for the fans?
Nah, Floyd knows that that'll be a money fight for him, for a Tank and everything like that. You know what I mean? But they gotta play their cards right, man. I don't think that I need to be on the B side, man. I earned my stripes to be on the A side. But I know a lot of people talk about the whole the background to his the support that he has and everything like that. But little do they know, man. I have a lot, man. I have all the belts. I have everything I carry, man. And I think that that's more than anything. So of course, man, I'm undisputed, man. And I think that's more than anything, man. But you know, as long as we are able to, as long as we all are able to make this fight happen and think about the fans, then we shouldn't have no issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Wow, man. We got the takeover with this Brooklyn guy. The takeover. When I think the takeover, I think of the Jay-Z song. You know, the takeover.
Yeah.
And I think of Brooklyn rappers. You know, who's your favorite right now? Who's some of your top five? Who's your top five Brooklyn rappers?
All right, and we talk about Brooklyn, which I guess we could consider DMX as one, no? Well, yeah.
He knew. Let's just say he the state of New York.
He the state of New York. All right. So
all right.
He Brooklyn grinding.
So that's my guy, DMX, always. Jay-Z, for sure. Nas.
That's Queen.
Mobb Deep.
Okay.
Mobb Deep. And if I want to get, depending on the mood, well, you got to get Biggie, you know what I mean?
Got to get Biggie, okay?
You got to get Biggie.
Brooklyn, baby.
Hey,
Yes,
Brooklyn.
sir.
I saw you post a caption on one of your posts on Instagram, and you said something about Shook Ones, and I knew that you was a hip-hop head when I saw that, man.
Yeah. I love listening to throwback more than anything, though. That's my thing. I think that growing up with my father and everything, I mean, my father's more native Brooklyn than anything, man. That man is Brooklyn born, and he loves all that stuff. So I grew up listening to stuff like that, man. And I don't know, it gets me going, man. I need music like that to get me pumping. And I mean, it gets me going, man. That's the best thing about it. I'd rather listen to that nowadays than what's going on. So
I love his father horse.
Yes. Hey, let me ask you another question before we get off the subject. Lomachenko, would you give him a rematch?
Nah, you know what's crazy though? A lot of people don't understand, man. Like, check this out though. When it came to the contracts and everything, we were negotiating. They didn't have no rematch clause on our end. You know what I mean? And because of that, we were like, hey, I'm the B side, he the A side. If he ain't saying no rematch clause, then I guess we ain't doing no rematch clause. So we didn't have that. And the reason why I feel like it's because if he beats me, they don't need to do a rematch, right? Everybody forgets about Teofimo. Everybody forgets about the takeover. You know, who cares about him? But now that I beat him, now that everybody wants this rematch and stuff like that. You know, you see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I think it's just all, you know, man was complaining about his shoulder and everything like that. I was fighting injured as well. And you know, I mean, we got the job done. So now it's on to bigger and better things like Devin Haney, Tank, and Ryan Garcia, all those cats, man.
Mikey Garcia said he'll meet you at 140.
Hey, you know what? One thing I gotta say though, Sway, man, I love it, man. I love it. The fact that, you know, everybody wants this, man. Everybody wants this heat, but I feel like they just throwing my name out there, man. Like I'm about to give out some free belts. It ain't like that. You know
Why you ain't got them on? Why you ain't got the belts? Why you ain't walking around with them on? Where the belts at? Why you ain't got them on, man? Come on.
I'm still waiting for my belts, man. I got 3 more belts I'm waiting back. So once I get all of them, man, trust me, y'all gonna see it all on the frame and everything, man. And you know, it's gonna be nice. I can't wait.
Your father, I love your father. I love his energy. You know, Danny Garcia's father, the same way. You know, the Mayweathers are the same way. And a lot of folks always thought the father-son dynamic is hard to work when it comes to boxing. How has your father's presence, you think, helped catapult you to a champion?
Honestly, I think that the fact that he don't give up on me no matter what the case is, and on top of that, what helps on that subject is the fact that he's seen, we started from nothing. To turn something from nothing into something, I think that means more than anything. And just on top of that, man, him as my father and everything, I think it's like the law of attraction, man. If you ever read into those books of like The Secret or anything like that, man, you call that stuff into existence, that thing is real. You know what I mean? You call it to the universe, you're going to get that back. I mean, I remember before Coleman, he said, I'm going to knock out Coleman on my 15th fight. And then on my 16th fight, we're going to knock out Lomachenko and take all the belts to become undisputed. I mean, we didn't get the knockout because of the way Loma wanted to fight, but we got the job done on my 16th fight to become undisputed and to become the youngest four-belt era champion. So I think
man. I like that.
I mean, it works, man.
Business, baby, Bridge man.
You gotta talk. I think everybody, they just need to talk. They gotta talk what they gotta talk, what they believe in, and just walk the walk afterwards. And I think that'll come in. And man, I can't wait, man. Honestly, for everybody that's tuning in, man, I'm here to make these fights happen. You know what I mean? Y'all don't ever gotta worry about me. I think I've shown that with the Lomachenko fight. You don't ever gotta worry about that with me.
Yeah, you think you can knock out anybody that faces you, whether it's Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, they all can get it?
Yeah. Honestly.
Takeover, baby.
That's how I go, man. Hey, I'm full. Hey, if you want to join the Teofimo Express, man, you better get on it right now because the train is going. The train is going. It ain't stopping. It ain't stopping.
I love it, man.
But you know what? You know what I love the most though is that we all grew up from with each other. We all know one another, and the fact that we can make these fights happen for you guys out there. I mean, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
There you go, man. Man, thank you, man. Hey, bro. Horse, you got anything else you want to holler at him about?
Hey, who's your favorite boxer of all time? What made you want to box? Who's your favorite boxer?
Oh man, I got so many, but my guy that I love because I feel like I have that rage in me. I just let it out when I need to, and that's Mike Tyson. However, when it comes to Mike Tyson, I also think about style-wise. I think of Floyd. I think of Sweet Pea. I think of all those guys, man, because they paved the way, man. This right here behind the head with the back shot, I learned that from Sweet Pea. I learned that from Pernell Whitaker. I mean, you pick all those things, and I grew up watching these guys, Roy Jones Jr., and I love boxing like that, man. So I feel like with this new generation, we're gonna bring boxing back on that end. So I'm looking forward to it, man. And yeah, man, those are my guys.
Okay. Hey, before you go, man, it's BridgeBizness, man. We like people to do predictions, so we got a couple fights coming up, and we want to get your prediction. And if you can, predict it to the round. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll ask you the first fight. Terrence Crawford, Kell Brook. What is your prognosis? What do you think is gonna happen?
Those are my guys, man. I know Bud was cheering for me for this fight, so that's my guy too. And I know Kell Brooks was cheering for me for the Lomachenko fight as well. I think it's a great matchup on both ends. I think a lot of people are overlooking Kell Brook. You know what I mean when it comes to style wise, because Bud is a top dog. He's number one pound for pound for a reason. You know what I mean? And I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I think everybody definitely need to tune in on ESPN to watch that. I'll definitely be tuning in. I gotta say, man, it's a 50-50 for me. I think who wins is the fans, man. I think everybody need to tune in.
You hear that, Horse?
That's honest.
But you know what? I'm gonna be all right. I can see Bud in the later rounds, if anything.
Okay, Bud in the later rounds. Okay, you got it from the champ. And then we gotta ask you. You want to ask him, Horse? You want to ask him the next one?
Errol Spence and Danny Garcia.
Ooh, you know, I was planning on attending that fight, man. It's such a big fight, such a great fight to happen, man, and especially for this year. My concerns, and I think it's everybody's concerns, is how Errol gonna come back from the accident that he had. Thankfully that he's still here, man. I'm thankful that you know I got to talk to him during the Wilder Fury fight, and we chatted it up, you know, and just to see that he's good, man. I was happy about that. Now going forward, a great matchup. A lot of people got to give Errol Spence credit for taking that fight. You know, coming from not only a long layoff, but also an injury that was that was real massive, man. It was major. Shoot, if I like Arrow for that, man. I like Arrow, but DSG, man, he got them hooks, man. He got them shots. He could crack. I think it's that one for sure. The fans are winning.
Okay, the fans are winning. All right, man. Sure. Hey, the takeover, man. God bless you, man. I saw it with my own eyes, man. I can't believe I met you, and then what's happened since. Congratulations to your family.